Kendo Podcast episode 196. In this episode, I want to talk about how to make your Suburi more realistic.
Kendo Podcast by Hiro Mafuji from Kendo-Guide.com. Thank you for listening. This podcast is about Japanese martial arts Kendo for Kendo lovers and supported by Kendo enthusiasts through Patreon.com. Thank you for your support, guys. Please visit Kendo-Guide.com for more Kendo information and how to support Kendo-Guide.com.
Welcome to Kendo Podcast episode 196. All right, now I know everyone does Suburi, and this is not only because we have time. This is not only because we are always at home. I think this is very important for every one of us to modify our Suburi, okay? Because Suburi, okay, we all know Suburi. When you hear Suburi, you think about Jogeburi, Shomen Uchi, Sayumen, all kind of stuff, right? Or Hayasuburi maybe. You know, Hayasuburi, Choyak, Shomen Uchi, whatever you call it. Maybe you do that, right? I think Choyak, Shomen Uchi was Hayasuburi. I think it's very good. If you do it right, the footwork of Hayasuburi is very useful. That's how we strike kote when you go kote man really rapidly. Okay, so I think again, if you do it right, it's so useful. Okay, that's why I've been saying doing Suburi correctly will improve your Kendo. If you do like Hayasuburi like this, and you put men on and do Kendo differently, what's the point of doing Suburi? So that footwork should be useful for your Kendo. Okay? So think about it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go to my video and I'll talk about it, right? So please do so. Hopefully I will post I can find the particular video I talk about, and I'll put the link below this podcast. Okay, so let me talk about how you can make your Suburi realistic. Now, you know how you strike men. Okay, let's talk about men. Okay, and kote do the same thing. The way we strike men, and when we do shomen uchi, shomen suburi, or men suburi, okay, they're different, right? You strike men in Suburi. You strike men as you snap up your left foot forward. Okay, that's Suburi. When you do Kendo, right? When you put men on, people say use humikomi. Okay, and when you do humikomi, you have to strike. Correct? Okay. There's two totally different movements. Don't you think? So a lot of people faithfully did their Suburi. They do Suburi faithfully, right? Snap up your back foot as you strike men. And then when you put men on, or later on, they're told, okay, now as you strike men, you do humikomi, which you never learned how to do it. And now you have to change this beautiful Suburi into something different. Okay, now, maybe you can do it when you were young, but, you've been doing the same movement for 3 months without, whenever you go to the dojo, and then people try to fix you into that movement, right? Then now, all of a sudden, you're told to, okay, let's do humikomi. And what? So I think it's very important for every one of us, including beginners. And this might confuse them, but at least they should know what they're going to do in the future. and they have to learn how to use their body at the beginning. I know it's not traditional, but because of this traditional way of learning, which is probably made for, I mean, Suburi, I think it is from how to use the sword. If you do Iaido, you can probably back me up with this. Iaido, okay, Iaido, you don't really snap up your back foot, okay, but the way we do, bring up your sword and you slide your front foot forward and then strike and then cut, okay, and we do kiken taichi there, okay, without snapping your back foot as far as we do, okay. Again, Iaido and Kendo are different movement, you know, so it's not quite the same, but what I'm saying is Kendo Suburi is from Iaido, how to use katana, okay, because it's totally different from what we do in Kendo. And if you watch very, very old Kendo, they don't pass through like we do, okay, so it was pretty much Kenjutsu back in old days. Years in old days means like 200 years ago, 100 years ago. Alright, so now if from that movement beginners have to learn fumikomi, and I'm sure that still work if you start learning Kendo as a kid. And if you have this great environment like Japan or like other places, if you have a lot of Kendo population, yeah, it might work. But if you don't, if you're not fortunate enough to have such environment, it's hard to do, right? So we really have to think about how can we introduce Kendo so they can at least, they as late starters, Kendo late starters, can enjoy, can learn much easily, much more easily, Kendo, right? Otherwise, they just struggle. It's not fun. I mean, they should enjoy Kendo itself. They shouldn't struggle because we teach two different movements. So at home, you should start doing fumikomi practice. Now, of course, I know some people do it. You can break it down. I would like to introduce such method soon. But because this might be controversial, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Maybe I'm going to just do it in Patreon. I start sharing my thoughts with them already, so I'm trying to make it more practical so everyone can replicate it. If you can't replicate it and get the result, something is wrong, right? So it's movement for crying out loud. Everyone should be able to do it. Of course, some people can copy easily and some people can't do it, right? But at least, I mean, without, make beginners having a hard time, just enjoy Kendo part. What's Kendo part? Kendo part is, of course, going through a hard training is Kendo part as well. But then we can learn kote suriyage, kote men, kaeshito. Those are the fun parts, right? And then I want them to know these things, and I want them to be able to do it. Not up to, individual abilities. So the more faithful you do Suburi, the tendency is the more they are really stiff. They can't really do not natural, smooth kendo when they put men. That's not good. So at home, break it down, okay? Try to strike men as your right foot, as your body weight moves on your right foot, okay? So you're going forward, so your weight will be shifting. And good kendo we consider is your posture doesn't change before, during, after. Okay? So that's a good kendo. That means not losing balance, keeping balance. Now, moving means you're losing balance. Otherwise, you can't move. If you stay stable, right? You're well balanced, you're not moving. Yeah, but you're moving, keeping your posture straight, and without losing balance, you have to shift your weight from where it is to forward towards your opponent. All right? So that's what you should be doing. So there are some there are things that I recommend to do. It's hard to explain because it's a movement. So like I use surikaburi, invented by Sato Makoto sensei, to start with, and then gradually learn how to shift your weight onto the right foot and then strike men. You can do it without doing actual fumikomi, so you can actually feel the weight shift. Okay, so maybe I can do that, and of course, the more you guys practice that, maybe I can get more results. So I share with you in the future. Fortunately, I started. I don't know when I can make this video, so you can practice it, but I will. So I think it's very important for everyone to think about what you want to do when you put men on, and then start practicing. Doing just Suburi won't give you that result because it's two totally different movements. Okay? So if you want to do certain thing, when you put men on, you have to do that movement. Okay? Again, Suburi is good. Okay? But movement-wise, it's completely different from what you do when you put men on. So you have to learn, you have to practice that movement as well as you do Suburi. And there are certain ways that I think it could work for you, how to practice that if you're having difficulty. Okay? Like, for example, I have to do fumikomi. But there's no, it doesn't say, in regulation book, it doesn't say you need to do fumikomi to get a valid cut, right? There's no such a thing. They don't say ki kentai, they don't use that word either. They probably broke it down so everyone can understand. Okay? Good posture, they talk about good posture. So you have to understand what is necessary, and then you have to scrape off what is not necessary. Okay? That is practice, I think. That is a trade, so you can be as lean as possible. You don't carry unnecessary stuff with your kendo. Okay? So that is practice, I think. So we have a lot of time now. So hopefully I can make this video. Maybe it's done by the time you hear this, listen to this podcast, hopefully. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy your stay home period and polish up your Kindle. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next podcast.
I would like to send special thanks to patrons for their constant support through patreons.com/Kindle for Life.